Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen and citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you all, members of the media, for coming to this conference at short notice. I thought I should ask the media to come so that I could speak briefly about a matter which has been very much in the news and is very much in today's news, and that is to say, the audit report, Firearms Audit Report. And the purpose of my call in this meeting, this conference, is to ensure that on what is a serious and grave issue, the government should contribute to ensuring that there is fair and balanced, responsible reporting on this very serious issue. So you would be aware, because it is reported in today's newspapers, that the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs wrote to Mr. Larry Lala, one of the attorneys for Mr. Gary Griffith, former Commissioner of Police. And that letter is dated the 6th of September. I have asked that my team bring copies of that letter, and I'm going to leave that letter with you all because I gather it has been leaked to the media, and it is important that the entirety of the letter should be read and assessed in the context of what I am concerned should continue to be fair, responsible reporting. And I'm going to refer to the letter to highlight some of the salient aspects of it. The first point that is made in that letter, and this is the letter of the 6th of September, is that the Firearms Audit Report will eventually be laid in Parliament. And I emphasize that as a constitutional responsibility on the part of the Cabinet led by the government. Section 75 of the Constitution provides that there shall be a cabinet for Trinidad and Tobago, which shall have the general direction and control of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and shall be collectively responsible, therefore, to Parliament. That cabinet is led by the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of this country, who is duly appointed and elected. And much commentary is being made of the fact that the Prime Minister has said that in due course he will be laying this Firearms Audit Report in Parliament. So let's get that out of the way. The Prime Minister has signaled an intention to discharge his constitutional responsibility pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution and, in particular, Section 75. The second salient consideration which emerges from the letter that was written by the Office of the Attorney General under the hand of the Director of the Legal Secretariat, Mr. Neil Ramkisoon, who is here with us today, and written on my instructions, is that the Attorney General is concerned to ensure, in the constitutional responsibility that I have to this country and to the government, that fairness and due process require that all persons who may be adversely affected by the findings in that report should be afforded the opportunity to comment and to make representations on any findings in that report. And that is to say that the government, of which I am privileged to be part, considers that it should discharge its responsibilities to this country in a fair manner according to due process. The third important point that has been stated in that letter to Mr. Lala is that consideration is being given as to whether there are persons, and I stress the plural, because this report is not just about Mr. Lala's client. Consideration is being given as to whether there are persons adversely affected by the findings in the audit report who have not had an opportunity to comment and make representation on the matters giving rise to the findings. And if there are such persons, what steps ought to be taken in relation to them and the audit report and its summary. The fourth important point that is made in the letter to Mr. Lala is that consideration is being given to whether in such a case, that is to say, where adverse comments are made about persons, plural, before the state or any of its authorities discloses the report or its summary, an appropriate person or body of persons should review the report, should give an opportunity to those persons who may be adversely affected to comment and to make representations, and thereafter to report to the head of the government under the Constitution for the decision of that head of government, the Honorable Prime Minister, as to what should be done next about a matter affecting national security. And an important point throughout the letter, when one reads it fairly, is that the audit report or any summary will not be laid in a manner as to prejudice its value as an investigative audit report. And I stress that last part. The audit report or any summary thereof will not be laid in a manner as to prejudice its value as an investigative report. And the reason why I stress that report is to explain, ladies and gentlemen of the media, that I may disappoint you today because there are significant limitations on my ability as part of fair due process to answer the multiplicity of questions that I have no doubt you will want to ask of me and you will want me to answer. It is not the time now or until this report as to due process is concluded for me to make comments as to what is in that report, either voluntarily, gratuitously, or in answer to any questions that you all may ask. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I should call you all here to emphasize these points. And I will leave with you, when I take my leave, which I will do regrettably shortly because I have other commitments, a copy of that report so that you can have it to peruse and to look at it and to read it and to report on it responsibly, as opposed to reporting on leaked bits and pieces and commentary on it that suggests that there are things in the correspondence that has been engaged in between the Attorney General and Mr. Lala, which is simply not there. So that said, ladies and gentlemen, that's as much as I'm prepared to say at this point. And I would ask you for any questions you all may have, bearing in mind the fact that I am not at liberty to comment on either what is in that report or what steps the government intends to take next, because we've emphasized the fact that the advice which I have given to the Parliament, to the government, is that an appropriate person or body of persons should review the report and invite persons who may be adversely affected to comment, after which a decision will be taken as to what next is to happen with this report, including the timing in a fair manner for its being laid in the Parliament. Thank you very much.
That will happen, that those people adversely affected
That is a work in process which will be determined by the person or persons who will be appointed to conduct the review of the audit report. What I can say in answer to the question when is that the government is concerned that this must be dealt with as expeditiously as possible.
With respect to the setting up of this committee to look at the report, where are we there right now? Where are we in that process?
It's a work in process that is being dealt with expeditiously. A work in progress means, sir, that it is happening as we speak, but beyond that, I'm not able to give you a more definitive answer.
If I may, earlier today, the chairman of the Commission of Inquiry into the deaths of the four divers said, Wilson, give us the tools to do what we need to do. He said that he lacked office supplies, lacked pens, even staff. The response to that?
May I say, sir, that I came here today to discuss the audit report, the Firearms Audit Report. I have no doubt, I know Mr. Lynch, I have no doubt that what he says is to be taken seriously. I would like to hear what he said. I'm not disbelieving you, but of course, there's always a context. I'm not, quite frankly, able to comment on questions outside of the Firearms Audit Report. I have a meeting at 3 o'clock with persons from outside of Trinidad who've come to meet with me. I had prearranged that meeting for 3 o'clock.
Were you aware of those limitations? Did he speak with you before? Did he say, listen, we need some?
No, he has not spoken with me.
Is it the first time he's raising these issues?
I don't know. He has not spoken with me.
But you are looking into it yourself?
I am not looking into it. This is the first I'm hearing of it from you.
So what's next?
That commission of inquiry is appointed by the President. I suggest you address your questions to the Office of the President. What are you speaking about? So when you say in this, sorry.
Yes, right. We're talking about, foreign attaches for the carrier commissioner inquiry.
I'm not about to say that I'm disinterested. I'm not about to disavow my responsibilities as Attorney General. One of the things that, and I've had significant experience in commissions of inquiry, I have been counsel to several of them, and one of the things that persons should appreciate, it arises very often, is that these commissions are appointed by the President under the Commission of Inquiry Act, is regulated by that act, and very importantly, all of those commissions have independent counsel who are also appointed by the President. So perhaps your questions can be directed to the very well respected Mr. Ramesh Lawrence Maraj, who may be able to make the inquiries and give the answers that you wish.
Well, I don't offer an opinion, but I'm surprised because obviously, the President is a ceremonial post. It's done in the name of the President.
May I? I don't want to interrupt you, sir, but I don't want to interrupt you, but I did not come here to speak about the Para Commission of Inquiry. I came here and I called this conference specifically to address what I consider to be less than balanced reporting in today's media. And may I end, if you all have no further questions, on the Firearms Audit Report, may I end by giving you an appreciation of one of the aspects of today's reporting which I consider irresponsible and unbalanced. This headline: the audit report has not been shot down. The audit report is a live, current process that is undergoing what is known in law as due process. It is an ongoing process, very much alive, and I implore members of the media not to reduce a very responsible fourth estate to sensationalized headlines. Thank you all very much.
People of God, I invite you to join me on Know the Truth, a Christian faith program dedicated to bringing the truth of the Bible. The truth that will heal your soul, that will help you in everything in your life.